Hope you're doing well. I want to thank all of you who submitted a mid-semester evaluation, and I had the opportunity to review the comments that you left. I appreciate the feedback. As always, we are on this journey together to improve learning. I see myself as a lifelong learner. So I wanted to address some of the feedback that was delivered in the hopes of clarification, in the hopes of understanding. And I wanted to do it in a video so that way you could hear and see and feel my tone and expression of gratitude and understanding. So I want to take a big step back and say what the purpose, the scope, the sequence, the why, if you will, the capital W-H-Y of the course. The whole design of the course, all of the activities, the tools, the strategies, all of that comes from designing your classroom and designing your teaching so that it will reduce and minimize the behavior management issues that will pop up in more traditional classroom settings. So I've designed the course to be personalized towards your interest, individualized toward your if you'd say your abilities or your different levels of understanding, multiple intelligences, in addition to also pushing you, wanting to push you out of your comfort zones and to take the risks as you would want to see in your own students, that you want them to take the risks. Not so much you want them to find the answer. That's really not what teaching is all about. Teaching is really making the student feel pushing the student out of their comfort zone. Not to the point of crashing, but making them feel, having them to work hard at it. And that's my goal, is to show you, to demonstrate how to design, how to teach effectively so that your behavior management systems are minimal, that they are not the central part of a classroom. So some of you are focusing on, like, when should I send a student to a class? When should I send a student to a principal? How do I use timeouts? I'm actually 10 steps back. I'm looking at how does your classroom look, sound, and feel? How does your teaching look, sound, and feel so that you are meeting every student's needs, both emotionally, academically, and intellectually. And in doing so, you create this environment similar to what Burgess wrote and described for you, similar to what Johnson wrote in terms of students owning how they're going to design their classroom, similar to how Burgess wrote in terms of engaging the students, really enveloping them into the world of learning, and that really the only rule in the classroom is do your job, focus, do your best. And that way the learning can happen. And yeah, it's going to be messy. Yeah, the learning is going to be weird. I've described in my syllabus that, the differentiated, individualized, personalized, flipped classroom online is like the ground floor of Google, where you see people working in groups, individual, they're laying on the table, they're talking, they're standing, one is designing, one is reading, all of that. It's messy. It's supposed to be messy. So that's really where I'm coming from. With that understanding, I want you to take risks. This is a safe place to take risks. And I've said this before, and I'm going to mention again, I don't care about the grade. I don't care about the final product per se. What I care about is the process. I care more about how you are learning, what you are doing, how you are struggling with whether it's a concept, whether it's a skill in terms of how do I design a classroom, or whether it's a skill of how am I using the technology? How am I going to design a classroom using this new technology? How am I going to create a storyboard using this technology? Remember, this is 21st century learning. You're dealing with digital natives in your classroom, kids who have grown up with technology, and in some cases their parents are digital natives. Technology is here to stay. You have these tools available to you. You're going to be encouraged to use them. Your textbooks are going to be online. Your projects, students will have a one-to-one laptop. You want to figure out how you want to engage the students. So I want you to take risks. I want you to feel safe to take the risk. What's the worst thing that happens? It doesn't meet the mark of the expectations based on the rubric? That's okay. I care more about the process. And with all of that, you have access to your grades. You can see how well you're doing. You're all doing well. So I understand that this course is hard. It's not like the other courses that you're taking. And that's the point. So that way, when you are doing the most challenging job in the world, which is teaching, and you also have the bonus of wanting to enter day schools and supplementary schools, which, let's be honest, it's a shrinking market, right? You are going to be marketed by the school. There are going to be reasons why you want the principal and the director to bring prospective parents into your classroom to see what's going on, because you are meeting your students' needs. You have a classroom that exudes the feeling of learning and risk-taking and engagement and excitement. That is what's going to keep families sending their kids to day school. That's what's going to engage prospective families to send their child to a supplementary school, to a day camp. So you're going to be marketing for your school. You are the marketers. You are the ambassadors. So a couple of other tachlis pieces that I wanted to cover. In terms of the assignments, I know that it can be a little tricky, especially even though you can add it to your calendar, and you have to do backwards design and say, how long is it going to take me to do this particular assignment, and planning it out. I will make available to you a list of the remaining dates of assignments. I will either print it out in the calendar form, or I will make a list of it, so that way you have a sense of the overall scope and sequence of what needs to be done. So I will definitely do that. In addition, I'm also going to run through the links. I know sometimes the links don't work, and unfortunately that's what happens. Like, I do check them before the class is launched. And sometimes a link will die, and I don't get a notification. I haven't figured that out yet. So the last thing I want to say is in the updates that I send out, part of being a responsive classroom and part of being a responsive, creating this community feel, is responding to updates, taking advantage of the updates, meaning you can post. If you have a question that you want to run by the other students, such as what's the best way that you want to submit your activity, or what other ideas are you doing, feel free to use the updates. If I post something, I'm doing it because I want you to think. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to know what you're thinking. And if you disagree with me, by all means, disagree with me. Put it up there. That's fine. I'm not going to get offended. Believe me, I am not going to get offended. My skin is much thicker than that. Put your thoughts on there. I want to see the engagement. And, from a tachlis perspective, if this is what's going to engage you, putting the like sign or writing a comment indicates to me that you're interacting. And that's part of your grade. It's on the syllabus to be part of an interactive course. It also gives me a measuring tool of, are you here? Are you present? As always, feel free to reach out if you have questions. I'm more than happy to meet with you. Your peers can tell you that I do respond to their emails. I've done phone calls. I've done Zoom calls. Feel free to. And know that you are in a safe place. And I would rather you take risks and really push yourselves than play it safe. Because after all, that's probably what you want from your students too. At least I hope that's what you want from your students too, when you have the opportunity to teach. Okay, I've taken up enough of your time. Looking forward to seeing you more online. Take care. Bye-bye.